Half an hour outside Cooktown, a jet-black mountain rises out of the green savanna like nothing else for hundreds of kilometers. For over 150 years, people, cattle, and entire search parties have vanished into it without explanation. The closer you get to Black Mountain, the more dangerous it becomes. The geology, the indigenous knowledge, and the documented history all point to the same answer. And this video is going to show you exactly what it is. What you're looking at isn't actually a mountain in any sense you'd recognize. There are no slopes to walk up, no paths that lead anywhere useful. What Kalkajaka actually is, and what the geology reveals when you look closely, is an enormous, chaotic jumble of granite boulders stacked against each other purely by gravity, some of them the size of houses, with no soil binding them together, and almost no vegetation taking hold in the gaps between them. Here's how it got there. Millions of years ago, magma cooled and solidified deep underground into granite. The softer rock surrounding it eroded away over an almost incomprehensible span of time, and what was left behind was this, a disordered pile of pale gray stone exposed at the surface. The color that gives the mountain its name isn't the rock itself. It's a biological crust, lichen and algae growing slowly across the granite surface over thousands of years, darkening it to near charcoal black. Up close, the rock underneath is ordinary pale granite. From a distance, it looks like something that shouldn't exist. And then there's what's underneath the surface, which is where the mountain becomes genuinely lethal. Those boulders aren't fused into a single mass. They're balanced. Between them run narrow crevices, hidden chambers, and sudden vertical drops that are completely invisible from above. A person or an animal that slips into the wrong gap doesn't fall a meter or two. They fall into a void that cannot be seen, heard, or reached from the surface. Rescue teams equipped with ropes and specialist caving equipment have been unable to safely access certain voids at all. Removing boulders to reach someone risks destabilizing the entire formation, burying rescuers alongside whoever they're trying to recover. This is why the mountain is officially closed to climbers inside a national park that otherwise welcomes visitors freely. No trail, no barrier, no rescue infrastructure, because the terrain cannot safely support any of it. The Kuku Yalanji people name this place Kalkajaka, place of the spear, and traditional owners do not enter it. The boundary wasn't imposed after European settlers started disappearing. It was already there, encoded in the name itself and in the dreaming stories that described the mountain as a sacred battlefield where the dead were placed within the rock. The geology and the oral tradition are making the same observation, just in different languages. This specific place requires a different kind of respect than the country surrounding it. The mountain was always the warning. The disappearances were simply what happened when that warning went unread. The Kuku Yalanji knew Kalkajaka was dangerous long before a single European settler arrived. Do you think that kind of traditional knowledge should carry the same weight as scientific evidence or more? Drop your answer in the comments below. Because what happened when those settlers ignored it is where this story gets genuinely dark. That warning went unread again and again across 6 decades of documented deaths and disappearances, each one following the same pattern the geology already explains. In 1872, a courier vanished near the mountain while searching for a stray calf. No trace was ever found, not of the man, not of the animal. 10 years later, 2 cattlemen went missing in the same vicinity. One eventually reappeared, but could give no coherent account of where he had been or what had happened to him in the time he was lost. The mountain had taken something from him that he couldn't name. Then there was a bush ranger known as Sugarfoot Jack, who retreated into the boulder field after a shootout, deliberately reasoning that no pursuer would be willing to follow him into terrain that dangerous. He was right about the terrain. The police search that followed found no men, no horses, no possessions. Nothing came back out. By 1928, a prospector was found dead in the area with a gunshot wound and his rifle nearby. The full circumstances were never conclusively established. 4 years later, another traveler was found dead under conditions that were never fully explained, and in at least one case, the search party sent to find missing travelers never returned either. Read those cases back against what you now know about the geology. Hidden voids, sudden vertical drops invisible from above, chambers that specialist rescue teams with ropes cannot safely enter. A body that falls into the wrong fissure may simply never be recoverable, not because of anything supernatural, but because the mountain is structurally built by millions of years of stacked and balanced granite to be a place things enter and do not leave. The Kuku Yalanji understood this precisely. The name, the dreaming stories, the boundary traditional owners maintain to this day. None of that was superstition. It was an accurate physical description of what this place does to living things. It took European settlers over a century of disappearances to arrive at the same conclusion the oldest knowledge had already encoded into the landscape. The mountain was never the mystery. It was always the answer. Subscribe if you want more ancient Australian history most people were never taught. And watch this one next.